My name is Chris, and I'll be your smart guide for today. There's a couple of quick reminders before we head out on the reserve. For your safety, please remain fully seated at all times, keeping all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. Please supervise your children at all times. Now, we are a photo safari, so please take plenty of photos. But we do ask that you please change the mode of photos in your phone or camera to either a sports or an action mode, because I don't stop for all animals. I can't stop for all animals, but I only stop for some. Speaking of animals, right above your head is an animal spotting guide that can help us spot some animals we might see on the reserve, some that you might not see due to migrational patterns. Now we're just holding here for just a few moments as we do need permission to enter the reserve from the warden, and it looks like we just got it. So today, let's go. Now we're entering a Terry Forest. The Terry Forest is known for animals that use their natural markings as camouflage. So keep your eyes peeled, guys, so you never know, they might be camouflaging themselves from us. One other thing, guys, to do ask, please do not call out for the animals. Try to make any noises, try to get their attention, because they are wild animals. You are visiting their home, so please show them the respect that they are due. Speaking of animals, right up to our left, they're up on the hill there, right behind the trees there. It looks like you can see some bongos back there. Bongos, their horns will grow backwards, that way they can easily dive and need to brush to escape predators. Back in the corner there, guys, behind the tree stump there, it looks like you see a couple of copies back there. Now, copies are shy and inclusive animals, so that's probably why they're hiding back there. Now, even though the copies do have striped legs, the most closest relative is actually the giraffe. Tell that by the orange horns, those two little horn things on the top of their heads, if you saw them. Real close to us here, right next to the water here, see a saddle-billed stork there. Now, saddle-billed storks, they can have a wingspan of about 9 feet, which is about the same as the canopy right above your heads there. Notice the red and the yellow part at the very top of his bill there. Kind of does look like a saddle, so that's why he's called a saddle-billed stork. Hiding off to our left there, guys, in the back there by the rocks. Looks like you see a black rhino facing away from us. Now, black rhinos can weigh up to about 3,000 pounds. They are solitary creatures, unlike their cousins, the white rhinos, which would form groups of crashes. Now, black rhinos, unfortunately, are poached for their horns. Their horns are made out of keratin, the same thing your fingernails and hair is made out of. The last estimated, there's about 3,600 left of the black rhinos left on the planet due to poaching and human encroachment. Right up on the hill here, guys, hiding in the bushes up there, in between the trees there. It looks like you see some greater kudos up there. The greater kudos, they can get up to about 6 feet to the shoulder in a standing position. They appear to be female greater kudos, as male greater kudos would have horns. Now, as I said earlier, guys, the animals here in the interior forest use their natural markings as camouflage. Another thing that unfortunately uses camouflage is hidden from the animals that here in the densely wooded areas or densely bushed areas are snare wires. Snare wires are a small, thin metal wire that poachers use to obtain the animals here. Unfortunately, animals cannot see them because they are set up on animal trails. So while we're out here on the reserve, if you happen to see them, please inform me immediately. That way I can call the warden, and the warden can call out the game rangers to come take care of those. Now, hanging out in the water here, guys, to the left of us, right behind the island there, looks like you can see a float of Nile hippos. Now, Nile hippos can be quite aggressive and quite territorial. Spend most of your day in the water, only coming up at nighttime, so you rarely see them out in the open like that one there. The Nile hippos will stay underwater for about 8 minutes without coming back up for air. Interesting fact about that is hippos can actually stay underwater for about 8 minutes without coming back up for air. Interesting fact about that is hippos can actually sleep in the water. Their brains automatically lift them to the surface of the water to get their breath of air and sit them back down into the water. Hanging out with them on the island there are some pink-backed pelicans. Now, pink-backed pelicans get their names from the pinks that their backs turn during their mating season. They also have a wingspan of about 9 feet. They live in colonies anywhere from 90 to 100. To the left of us here, guys, just underneath the bridge here, it looks like you can see some Nile crocodiles there. The Nile crocodiles can get up to about 16 feet long. The main source of food is fish, because they do live in the water. They can have a bite strength of about 2,000 pounds per square inch. Now, an unlikely symbiotic relationship is the hippos and the crocodiles. As I said earlier, hippos are quite aggressive and quite territorial, so whatever animal does happen to step into a hippo's territory will eventually float down the river to the crocodiles, and the crocodiles will take care of the rest. Going up to the right of us here, guys, we notice a tree right in the middle here. Tree without the leaves on it. That is the Bayabop Tree, also known as the Tree of Life, or an upside down tree. Point out to you guys because that tree will not have leaves for about 9 months out of the year, just that to conserve water in the savannah during the dry season. Speaking of the savannah, guys, the savannah is known to be a super highway for migratory animals and all the more of our iconic animals such as white-bearded wildebeest, zebras, giraffes, lions, cheetahs. So let's keep our eyes peeled, guys. You never know what we might see as we come down the hill here. Now, it looks like as we come down the hill, you can see a Maasai giraffe, as well as some springboks hanging out with them. The springboks can leap up to about 13 feet straight up into the air, get the speeds of about 60 miles per hour. When they do leap, it's called spronking. Now, I say he's a Maasai giraffe because I feel that by his markings. If he was a reticulated giraffe, you would have a much patchier coat. Now, Maasai giraffes can get up to about 18 to 20 feet tall. Hanging out in the shade here, guys, as well as in the den there to our left here. It looks like you can see some African wild dogs here. The African wild dogs are also known as painted dogs. They do hunt as a pack, and in doing so, they have one of the highest success rates when it comes to hunting, which is about 93%. African wild dogs are led by an alpha male and an alpha female. So there is a pecking order when it comes to food and all that. So there are left, guys, hiding off in the back there. We can see some sable antelopes there laying down. Now, sable antelopes, they will protect themselves against predators such as lions and cheetahs by using their horns. Now, we notice these termite ants here, guys. Termites will use their spit and other excrements to create these termite mounds. They can be as hard as cement. Elephants will actually use them as a scratching post. They eventually wear them down to a point where a small animal, such as a springbok, can use them as a lookout post for predators. Now, to the left and to the right of us here, guys, looks like you can see a dazzle of Hartman zebras. Each zebra print is unique to the one zebra, so it's kind of like a fingerprint. Baby zebras will actually imprint on their mothers, because, as I said, each print is unique, so that way they don't nurse from another zebra. Fully grown male zebras can weigh up to about 750 pounds, while a fully grown female zebra can weigh up to about 400 pounds. Now, the age-old question, are zebras white with black stripes or black with white stripes? They're actually black with white stripes.
黒で白ストライプなの？ま？初耳ですわ。
Now, these guys hanging out by the road here are Untittled Cattle. Now, the Untittled Cattle, their horns can get up to about 6 feet tip to tip. They actually pump blood into those horns in order to cool themselves down. By doing so, they cool themselves about 15 degrees. Now, the Untittled Cattle are also known as the Watusi Cattle. They get the name Watusi from the tribe that domesticated them. In some cultures today, still, Watusi Cattle is a sign of power or a sign of wealth. So the more you have, the more wealthier you are. Right up on the top of the hill there, looks like we see a herd of white-bearded wildebeest there laying down. Now, white-bearded wildebeest, they do have a population density second to us humans. They can live in herds anywhere from 100,000 to 1.5 million. They are quite smart, as they will lay down, facing off in different directions. That way, when they are scared by predators or something else, they do not run into each other. Now, a group of giraffes is called a tower.
タワーっていうんだってたくさん
Giraffes, they don't need that much sleep. They only need about a half hour. I don't think that half hour all together. Take 1 to 2 minute micro naps throughout the day. Giraffes have a high metabolism,
たくさんいらっし
as
ゃ
they
る
eat about 700 pounds worth of vegetation each day.
そんな700パウンドも食べるの1日でめちゃくちゃ食べんじゃんあんたらお金かかるやん
You notice this little guy here,
Oh,
right
come on,
behind the rocks here. Looks like he's gonna cross the road here.
かわいい
A little guy, he'll be about 6 feet tall when he's born. The first thing he'll experience is a
Maribel,
6-foot drop, and the other giraffe will give birth standing up. Gestational period for a giraffe is about 15 months.
あ、なんかいた今マントヒヒじゃないのこれなんだっけライオンキングの猿の名前が出てこないラフィキみたいな猿がいた気がするんだけど左側に気のせい絶対今いた
Now, I don't know if you guys can see him hiding back there, but there's a male elephant back there. So he's a male elephant because he's all by himself. Male elephants will be pushed out of their herds in their mid-teens as they can be unquiet and restless with the rest of the herd. Sometimes, when they are pushed out of their herds, they, on a rarity, will form bachelor herds.
説明して左側の
Hanging out on the ground there, between those trees there, you see a mandrill there.
ほらね
Now, mandrills are terrestrial, meaning that they spend most of their time on the ground. Full-grown male mandrills, such as that one there, can weigh up to about 100 pounds. Interesting fact about mandrills is that mandrills will actually show their teeth. Not as a sign of aggression, but actually a sign of greetings.
お嬢さんいないめっちゃ止まるよ会いたいって言った
Take a few photos, guys. This is a rarity. You don't really see bachelor herds that often. Now, elephants can drink about 40 gallons of water each day and hold about 5 gallons of water in their trunk.
めっちゃ飲むやん1日何百ガロン400ガロンしてるの
Another interesting fact that we found about elephants is elephants are afraid of bees.
ハチ嫌いなんだ
We found this out
さ
because elephants were having conflict with farmers running into their crops. So, we found out that elephants are afraid of bees, so farmers will actually put beehives along the perimeter of their land to scare away the elephants, thereby protecting the elephants, and giving that a benefit to the farmer to get their crop, so he gets more money.
ハチ嫌いだからハチ好きな人はいないと思うんだけどそれ以前の問題すっげえ揺れるあまたゾウさんがいらっしゃるこんにちは車用意してきたゾウさんにとっていらっしゃるかわいいでもちょっとゾウ帰る気しないな
Now, you'll often find elephants near Bayabop trees, because they'll actually use their tusks
かわいい
to puncture the trunks of these
Yeah.
Bayabop trees to obtain the water that is stored there. As I said, male elephants are pushed out of their herds in their mid-teens, so elephant herds are led by a matriarch, meaning that a female is leader of their herds.
うん
Elephants have sensitive skin. They'll actually throw sand and dirt on themselves in order to prevent themselves from getting sunburned.
次ライオンか
Now, they do also suffer from poaching. They are poached for their ivory tusks. Another human conflict that they also have is coltan mines. Coltan is a metal found in cell phones and other personal electronic items. So you guys, next time you do upgrade your phones, get new electronics, please recycle the old ones. That way we do not have to mine for more coltan and help out the elephants quite a bit. Now, it looks like
Let's go on top of the
millions of greater flamingos here, guys. Greater
Go on top of
flamingos
the
are
no,
actually
that's-
gray when they hatch, just like those little ones there hanging out on the island there. And that pig is still from eating flying shrimp.
ちっちゃい
In the shrimp.
え
Now think about it.
すごいやなあいつら
Full grown. Take another 2 years for them to get to
か
about
わいい
to a mating age where they have little ones of their own.
めっちゃかわいいやんなんやば
Interesting fact about flamingos: flamingos will actually stand on one leg to conserve energy.
ごめん、ベイビーズめっちゃ可愛いやん。可愛い。あ、動物欲しい。どうでもいい話だけど、動物ってね、宇宙エナジーめっちゃ持ってんだって。だからなんか人間が動物とかに心開くと、なんていうの、心が安らかになるらしい。だから私でも安らかになった気ないんだけど。
So to the left of us there, guys, looks like we see a crash of white rhinos back there. Now, those guys back there are southern white rhinos, as northern white rhinos are now extinct due to poaching and human husbandry. Now, we might see them, they might not see us, they do have very poor eyesight. They rely mostly on their hearing and their sense of smell. Now, both black rhinos and white rhinos do have a charging speed of about 35 miles per hour.
おはようございます。皆さん、こんにちは。
White rhinos can weigh up to about 5,500 pounds. The reason why white rhinos are actually called white rhinos is actually due to a misinterpretation of the native word "vite," meaning wide-jawed. As we see, the white rhino does have a wide-jawed for grazing.
おやすみ。そういえばライオンいなかったな。
Now, laying up down in the shade there to our left there still, guys. Looks like we see a couple of cheetahs there.
Yeah.
This is another rarity. Cheetahs are usually solitary cats. When they do form groups, it's called a coalition. Now, cheetahs can reach up to speeds of about 65 miles per hour. Usually reach that speed in about 0.3 seconds. Now, unlike other big cats, cheetahs do not roar and actually make a chirping noise just like a bird. They do not have the vocal cords to roar. Now, speaking of roaring, right up on the rocks there, it looks like you see a pride of lions up there just lying around. Now, lions are nocturnal hunters, meaning that they hunt mostly at nighttime. Now, when it comes to hunting, it is the lioness, the female lion, that does most of the hunting, while the male lion will remain with the home with the cubs and protect their territory.
そうやね。あららららららら、どこ行くの？どこ行くの？
Lions will sleep about 17 to 20 hours a day.
1日20時間寝るんですよ、ライオンは。ちなみにですね、マが仮に行ってパは子供の世話をするっていうね、そういう家庭らしいです、ライオンさん家っていうのは。今だけ流行りのあれだよね、専業主婦夫、みたいな。だからメスいないね。
Now, a lion's roar can be heard about 5 miles in any direction.
てか近くね、この距離。何見てんの？あそこにいるのか。見えないじゃない。
Now, earlier, I don't know if you guys noticed his paws, but his paws, as well as lioness's paws, do have a lot of padding. That way they can easily sneak up on their prey. Lionesses will utilize small group tactics to ambush their prey, as they can only run up to about 30 miles per hour. I don't know if you guys can see them, but there are a couple of warthogs hanging out there to our left there. Now, warthogs, they have two sets of tusks, upper ones and lower ones. The upper ones are used for defense, while the lower ones are used for burrowing. Interesting fact about warthogs is male warthogs are the only ones that have warts. They actually use them as a cushion. So when they fight other male warthogs for dominance or territory. Hanging out in the shade there, guys, just laying down there. There's a couple of bones back there. They rely heavily on reserve lands such as this one, as they were nearly brought to extinction, leaving only about 17 left in the wild. I don't know if you guys noticed those eggs there on the ground. Those eggs are ostrich eggs. Now you might be wondering why an ostrich would just leave them out in the open like that. Ostrich eggs aren't quite tough. You can actually stand on an ostrich egg and not break it. Now it'll take about 40 to 42 days for them to hatch.
そう、このなんだっけ、ダチョウの卵ずっとあそこにあって絶対カットしないのね。少なくとも2013年に引っ越してきて、2013年じゃな2010年初めて兄貴に来て、そっから6年ハッチしてないから、あの卵は一緒にハッチしたんじゃないかなって私は思いながら毎回見てる。 それか誰かが前からやってる人置き換えてるかだよね。できたんじゃないですか。
Now, just about to wrap as far I guess. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the animals that we saw today, interested in seeing some more, you suggest heading down the Gorilla Falls. There you can see some gorillas, meerkats, rats, even some Madagascan hissing cockroaches. We also suggest heading out to Raffiki's Light and Watch. That's where we pulled the animal hospital for the animals that we saw over here. So if you're interested, early in the morning, you can see some medical procedures being done on the animals that we saw here on the reserve. So if you're a veterinarian or you want to be a veterinarian in the future, I want to go check that out. Now please check around you to make sure you have all your personal items, as roads out there can be quite bumpy, and I do my very best to hit every pothole out there. So please check around and make sure you have all your personal items. Here on the reserve, we don't like to say goodbye. Instead, we like to say Kwa Harini, which means go well in Swahili. So Kwa Harini, our friends, go well, go wild, go explore.
はい、ということで、スワヒリに、あれ言ってくれんかった。